Welcome back to GCN Racing and highlights of stage 16 of the Tour de France. We've had our final rest day, and going into it a very happy man was Simon Yates of Mitchelton Scott, who took his second stage win of the race in Foix on Sunday. In the GC battle, we saw the first signs of weakness in Alaphilippe, who conceded 1 minute and 16 seconds to Thibaut Pinot and 27 seconds to Geraint Thomas, who remains his closest rival. And so this is how things stand going into stage 16. Alaphilippe still at the top of the table, but his advantage now down to 1 minute and 35 over Thomas, whilst Pinot is right back in contention in 4th. Today should be the penultimate sprint stage of this year's race. 177 k's from Nîmes back to Nîmes. Nothing particularly tough about the stage profile, only one 4th category climb along the way, but it could be the weather that makes it tough. The mercury is forecast to hit 38 degrees Celsius in the latter part of the stage, so would the sprinters teams have the energy to bring the break back? Let's find out. There weren't in fact too many riders interested in heading up the road this morning. The French duo of Alexis Goujard of AG2R and Stéphane Rossetto of Cofidis were the first to go. They were later joined by Lars Bak of Team Dimension Data, Paul Orsayin of Total Direct Energie and Lucas Wisniewski of Team CCC. However, the sprint teams quickly setting to work on the front. Their lead was never more than 2 minutes. The biggest drama of the first half of the stage was this crash of Geraint Thomas. Hard to see exactly what happened there, but thankfully he didn't appear too badly hurt. But that's the 3rd time he's hit the deck in the last couple of weeks. Not what you want when you're trying to win the Tour de France. We'll wait and see how that affects him come the Alps. After 66 k's of the stage done, the riders hit the intermediate sprint. Up front it was Lars Bak who rolled across the line to take the max 20 points, whilst behind there was a perfect lead out by Mikko Morkku of De Koning Quickstep, which saw Viviani take the 10 points for 6. Peter Sagan, despite being 3 places further back, remained head and shoulders above everybody else in that competition. As the temperatures soared, ice packs were the name of the game to keep the riders cool. Nothing high-tech here though, simply stockings from a supermarket which are filled up with ice. On the only classified climb of the day, the Côte de Saint-Jean-du-Pain, was once again Lars Bak who rolled across the line first. The 39-year-old Dane announced earlier this season that this would be his last Tour de France. The gap to the leaders was already back under 1 minute with 36 kilometres to go. And then 9 kilometres later, we saw a number of riders go down in a crash. On the floor here is Team Sunweb sprinter Cees Bol. He took me back towards the bunch. But as Tony Martin continued in beast mode on the front, it emerged another big name had been involved. This is Jakob Fuglsang, who started the day in 9th place on GC. And it would be heartbreak for the Dane, whose injuries were too severe for him to continue the race. With Tony Martin finally done for the day, it was time for De Koning Quickstep to show themselves on the front for the first time. Another Dane, Kasper Asgreen, setting to work and quickly bringing the gap to the break down further. There was another crash inside the last 6 kilometres of the stage. This time it was Roman Kreutzke of Team Dimension Data involved, although he quickly took a bite from his teammates and made his way back to the bunch. 5-man breakaway was still holding on to that slender 12-second advantage with 4 k's to go. They'd clearly saved some energy for the last part of the race, but with 4 sprinters teams working on the front, they were eventually caught and the lead out proper began. Under the Flamme Rouge it was Lotto Soudal on the front, but waiting in the wings was De Koning Quickstep. It was the Danish champion Michael Mørkøv leading Richesi and Viviani through that last corner at warp speed. The Danish champion would eventually pull off with just 250 metres to go. Richesi then guiding his Italian leader perfectly towards the line. However, coming from 7 places back was Caleb Ewan, and in a drag strip race to the line, it was the Australian who took the honours. Caleb Ewan taking his second stage win of this race, the only sprinter in fact to have won more than once. He's never got this far through a Grand Tour before, but he's clearly got through this one in good condition. This overhead shot clearly shows how far back he had to come from. More pace towards the line from Elio Viviani, who stood no chance in the end. He would hang on for second, with Dylan Groenewegen in third and Peter Sagan taking 4th place on the day. What a race this man is having though. He couldn't have expected to take 2 stage wins in his first ever Tour de France, but that is exactly what he's done, and he's still got one more chance in Paris on Sunday. As confirmation of the top 10, it was Bonifacio in 5th place, Michael Matthews in 6th for Team Sunweb, Trentin, Sturban, Christophe and Pasqualon rounding out the top 10. No change in the top 8 of the general classification. Alaphilippe still in yellow, 1 minute and 35 ahead of Thomas. Steven Kruijswijk a further 12 seconds back. But with Fuglsang out, Uran and Port have moved up to 9th and 10th respectively. And so on to tomorrow, another long and another hot one, a 200k transitional stage from Pont du Gard into Gap. This one looks almost guaranteed to be won from the breakaway. The third cat climb at the Col de la Sentinelle crests with less than 10k's to go, after which it's going to be a fast and frantic descent to the finish line. Don't forget to subscribe to GCN Racing if you haven't done so already, and click on the bell icon so you receive a notification every time we upload a video. And if you'd like to take a closer look at the final climb of this year's Tour de France, Sai and J-Pow have ridden it in a video you can see just down here.